thank you for joining me. I am Tamara Jean, your awakening mentor and wellness astrologer here on High Vibe TV. And this content is for Saturday, February 1st through Monday, the 3rd of 2025. Wow, that was a first month of the year, wasn't it? It was quite jam-packed with so much going on, so much energy, and it's still going. We are really, it is experiencing transcendence. It's so many different levels in all the different areas, especially with how much Pisces that we have going on in the sky, right? In the, what do I want to say? Like in the heavens, in the stars, so much, feeling so much, which will get turned up a notch a little bit once the moon moves into Aries on Saturday evening. But while this moon is still in Pisces and then conjuncting both Venus and Neptune and then the North Node, right, there is, I feel so much around the ideas and the visions, and that we had the moon conjuncting Saturn. Like there's so much to energy available that is, and of course, you know, Mars is still squaring Chiron. We still have the sun trining Jupiter. I just feel like they're all working together in getting deeper into our subconscious, into our consciousness, and all of those really deeply ingrained patterns, whether belief patterns, behavioral patterns, right, mental, emotional, all of the different angles, if you will, and going in and first of all acknowledging it and accepting it, and then going through the transformation of it and regeneration. So I feel like all of these energies, you know, are bringing those deeper patterns, right, that are more rooted in wounding within our consciousness, you know, any trauma that is imprinted on our consciousness, and very much so from past lifetimes still, that has come through our genetic code. I have for you Self-Healing Collective, and it is 963 hertz encoded into this music that you hear faintly in the background. And they always have wonderful affirmations that they put on the screen, and of course beautiful imagery. And this feels very much in assistance in connecting, because that 963 is a God frequency, to assist you in connecting with your higher self and higher planes of consciousness, and just this very soothing and deepening melody. And you know, there's kind of some toning, almost light language like sounds in this music, and helping to connect to that your inner knowing, you know, and knowing, peace, your heart, right? All of these transits that we have over this weekend really assisting to where we are attuning at a deeper level, first of course within ourselves, then with others, and we're transmuting the wounded patterns around that would elicit, let's say, self-sabotage, right? Or the victim, or the prostitute, right? Or the saboteur, all those archetypes, or even the child archetype. And working through that and healing to the, what I call the higher octave of those archetypes, where we're moving into the lover archetype, the magician, the sovereign, and in the warrior, right? Into those energies, right? And really being connected, like strongly connected. Of course, then we have now that being in the year of the snake, we have that added energetic support of reflecting, right? Because there's a lot of reflective, more introspective energy that we have right now. It'll move a bit more action-based, of course, right now that we have Uranus station direct, then the moon moving into Aries, and then we have Jupiter stationing direct, which for me personally, I cannot wait for, happening on Tuesday, right? And then Venus is going to move into Aries also that day before. So I think it's going Monday, maybe going into Tuesday, that Venus is going to move into Aries. So that's going to, you know, bring in some fire that will help in the action piece of things, as we get, right, more and more planetary bodies stationing direct. But there's going to be, right, new connections being made with the transits that we have this weekend. And then moving into Monday, of course, the moon's going to conjunct Chiron. And so there's a lot of, especially with so much Pisces energy, right? There's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of sensitivity, yet, I mean, we do still have, in the current human design transit, we start out with still the sun in that gate 19 in the root and that gate of approach, right? So that is like, we want to be included and in reaching out and with working with others, especially, of course, with the sun still in Aquarius, and who we do that with is something that I'm feeling that we're working through, and that energy being grounded in that gate of retreat and the throat. I feel like this is bringing through, like, there has been some really real heart-to-heart conversations is what I keep getting. And as long as you are, right, there's the potentiality of still reacting and things coming through the filter of the wounded pattern, right? But we're really being guided to remain in our heart and stay aligned with that frequency as we're expressing and connecting with others, right? There's a shift in, because we all know that, you know, let's say on the world stage of things that people have seen for a while and others just kind of waking up to it, right? There really is no room or place for judgment right now, because that's not going to help things, right? It's like, okay, awesome. Now you're, you know, on board, and it's more of like, celebrate and be grateful that more and more people, right, are waking up, and we've been going through all this together, and we're beginning to all, right, so many are beginning to see and perceive things differently. That is a lot of part of this. I feel like this really big theme of transcendence happening deep within our structure. And so much of that has been happening truly with Saturn being in Pisces, right? The last couple of 2 to 3 years, and then with the transits that we have this weekend, and Saturn has moved in the human design transit. It's moved into gate 22 in the emotion center, which we also have the North Node, the South Node, and Neptune they're all hanging out together in the emotions center. And so we have to be very watchful of our emotions. I was just having this conversation with my autistic son last night, actually. And right, because there is just the level of sensitivity that we have, and we're learning how to, right, emotions are very powerful. We also have to remember that they are temporary. So if there is an emotional trigger that happens, that activates that pattern that comes through a wounded filter, right, we'll just even call it a distorted pattern gets activated, and we begin, spitting that out. We all know, right, can't take back words, and some people are very much remember things that have been said, and that can cut just as deeply as a physical thing, sometimes. So we really have to be mindful, and at the same token, so much growth is happening, especially with Neptune and the North Node are in this same gate, 36, in the emotion center. That's that crisis resolution, and really emphasizing the growth in those emotional issues. And that South Node being in gate 6 of conflict resolution, helping, like, balancing and clarifying. And there's like reframing happening and restructuring, especially for those that are in there now, like nodal reversal, right? Or reframing the South Node, or reframing how we have done things, and right, in our daily routine, or how perhaps we have, I'm seeing as prioritized, and bringing through that knowledge that we do have of things that we have learned, bringing through the benefits and that knowledge that we have gained, right, and implementing it. And so when we're getting deeper into these really very emotional based patterns or aspect of things that have been deeper in our consciousness or into our subconscious, rising up into our conscious awareness, that we remember the inner brilliance, remember that knowledge, right? And having that come through. And this is what's so important right now. And this is what is beautiful about all the Pisces energy, is Pisces is very open, right? Very heart-centered, compassionate, sensitive, right? It is that like fluidity and that flow. The gesture of Pisces is freedom. And, right, doesn't like to be restricted. Yet, we know, right, it's very feminine. And here with the duality, right, need to have a very divine structure, right, the masculine, and or even container, right? You could very much dive into like the whole feminine masculine aspect of the energy and what's going through us individually and internally, which this is going to be a big focus this year with so much internal, right? And taking those appropriate actions, right, when the time is right, very strategically taking action. And so the sun and the earth will be moving into different gates on Sunday. The sun is going to move into gate 13, which is the listener, in the self-center, and the earth that will also be in the self-center in gate 7 in uniformity. And so the sun is where it's going to, the energy of gate 13 is where, as being like you're a born listener. So, you know, where you get those random people that like just start talking to you and sharing their life story or sharing, you know, some experience, and you're like, I don't even know this person, and they're just like walking up to me. And that's because, right, it's helping people find their purpose and direction in life by acknowledging them, their efforts, their challenges in the stories that they bring to you, that they share with you. And this is how we build on. This is about that attuning at a deeper level, and having that in having it be empathetic, right? You're having empathy rather than sympathy. So that leads to compassion. And we're really learning that. I feel like it's been so long of supporting that victim archetype. That's how the collective has been feeling, right? Trauma bonding has been connecting with other people, you know, being relatable and using that. Obviously, some have manipulated that. We've seen that on the world stage. But very much so that relatable trauma bonding, you know, where you're like coddling the victim archetype within somebody rather than, right, being empathetic, where you can tune into it and you can have compassion, yet, right, you're directing and helping to lead. And that's where the grounding energy with the earth in the uniformity gate, there is that leadership authority quality within that gate, and grounding this energy, helping to, you know, kind of like getting everyone on the same page and purpose and moving towards, you know, a common goal, common purpose and understanding. So it's very much, we are working through internally so much within our structure. And remember, you know, too, that we still have Jupiter in a weak square to Saturn, and Jupiter is in the throat in gate 16 and selectivity. So that has the potential of like seeing the way ahead. And so this helps in choosing the endeavors, right, that promote success. And I feel like because Jupiter's retrograde, you know, there's not quite as much enthusiasm, but once that turns stations direct on Tuesday, right, that will shift, and some more, we'll have more energy and enthusiasm, because we're still creating the framework. I was seeing, when I was thinking about Neptune moving into Aries and Saturn into Aries, I was seeing then a whiteboard, and I was hearing like going back to the drawing board. And as far like, this is going to be very like creative, visionary, pioneering. This is going to be moving forward, right, in a whole new way. We have to create things new. We take the knowledge that of the ancients that are very powerful and relevant and implement, but it needs to be, we have to create something, right? It's going to be new. And I think that's a whole other topic, and I'll leave that right there. Because it's another thing that has been coming up that I'll share more about. and Pluto has moved into, he's finally out of gate 60, out of the gate of limitation, and has moved into 41, the gate of imagination. And this is like the mind's eye. This can, you can relate it. Now this is still in the root center, right? This is obviously, it's an Aquarian gate. So this is going to help in where we regenerate, right? Renew things in a total new way, right? We're going to feel that pressure now. I mean, it just moved in, it's in being expressed through the one line, which is like the knowledge seeker. So it's going to be here for a while. And it is the starting line of all experiences. And so we're going to feel that internal pressure to want to break free of all these old patterns and the structure, everything, right? It's like we're getting a whole overhaul. And so how this is expressing in the body. So I was very much seeing like the head, and then the lymphatic system, the body fluid, you know, and paying attention to where is it like stagnant, is it flowing, and the ears, the brain, the eyes, and the sinuses, still all, you know, different areas, and going through perhaps different things, like I shared last time, of, you know, not wearing much makeup because of processes I'm going through. And it is, and I do care, but I have Venus in Cancer in the 10th house. So I am very sensitive to my public image. So that's why I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not wearing much makeup, right? So that's my thing. You know, blueprinted, right? It's part of my blueprint. And so the eyes and where your like lens, so how you perceive things, right? This can be energetically, but also happening physically. You may notice your eyes beginning to change. And I've been witnessing and receiving of how you see in the light and the dark. Now, because the rods and cones of the eyes are ruled by Aquarius, and that has to do with the light and the dark, being able to see. And so start paying attention to, was your night vision not very good before? Is it changing and you're starting to see a little bit better in the dark? I personally, that's happening to me. You know, how is it in the light? And just your perception, and just visually things changing. So, and I feel like sometimes in this year of the snake, like you might feel like you're literally shedding, right? So whether it's skin, which when Venus moves into Aries, there can be more skin stuff. And so, because it really kicks off, it influences the hormones very much so. And so with all of this water and such, you want to have like low glycemic, because we got Uranus now direct in Taurus, which very much like the whole sugar thing, and the thyroid. So you want to pay attention to, you do want to pay attention to what you're taking in. So you want to keep it like low glycemic, low carb vegetables, high protein, high quality animal protein with all this water, and not try to avoid excess raw foods, alcohol if you drink alcohol. You want to, of course, additives and synthetics. I mean, you should avoid those altogether anyway, but especially right now, right? Any high glycemic things. High fat nuts are going to be good for you. Do be aware, because all this Pisces, and then how I've been, I almost feel like a broken record, but all the gut stuff that we are going to, that will be coming into play with this nodal cycle, that especially Pisces and mold, right? Or any kind of bacteria overgrowth in your gut. You want to be mindful of, like, if you eat a lot of grains, right? Wheat, if you eat corn, coffee, and nuts, these are all things that are more prone to mold, to mycotoxins. So, like, for example, my coffee that I use, I like Life Boost, is what I have been drinking for a really long time, because it's low acid, it's single origin, which I like. Of course, it's all like sustainable and organic and like all those things. And it is tested for all of the mycotoxins, right? Mold, chemicals, all of those, all the bad things that you don't want in your coffee beans. And so that is a good company. I like that one. It tastes really good, I think, but you know, I always like to recommend different things. And so there's a lot of that'll help to kind of decrease and balance a lot of the water element that we do have, right? We want to create fluidity and freedom. So also with the lymphatic system, right, keeping that moving. Now, it is the only system that does need manual manipulation to really keep it flowing. So whether you're doing dry brushing or getting lymphatic massage, using smoky quartz that penetrates the magnetic field of the lymphatic system and gets it moving, right, energetically. Keeping things moving is going to be really important. I feel like too, especially with the potency of Pluto in Aquarius, well, Pluto's just potent, period. And all of your detoxification pathways and organs really support those. And your small intestine, so like your digestion, because the small intestine is where, right, it turns semi-solid food into the liquid, so you can absorb the nutrients from the food, produces the enzymes. And so you may need some digestive enzymes or bitters or something that to help over the next little bit with all this Pisces. And because Pisces does rule the small intestine. And so the emotions with that lymphatic and small intestine, and both have to do with self-sabotage and vulnerability, or perhaps feeling insecure. So or maybe feeling unsupported, right? As these things are coming up into our conscious awareness. So to just, right, have compassion for yourself, for others, as we're all going through our own thing. And as you do, it's like want to reach out to others and to truly, I feel like we're really learning how to truly be in service, especially, with this energy. I feel like are a lot of like healers and therapists and coaches and things like that, or roles like that, and learning how to truly be in service. And I feel like there's a lot of healing happening, you know, healing coming into our lives through different people in different ways, and right, being open, and there we go, to and attuned. We have patchouli and lime. So lime is wonderful because it does bring, it's the oil of enthusiasm for life, and actually part of helping to decrease imbalanced water is drinking, having lemon or lime juice. So that lime is going to be good for during this time. We have all of this Pisces, and helping to take those small steps, right? So there will be a little bit more spark as we get through having the moon move into Aries, and then you know, with the stationing, of course, with Uranus already, and then Jupiter stationing direct, thankfully. So good. And then patchouli, very grounding, right? Super earthy, and having an earth experience, yes. And you know, in the body, we are, it is a process of balancing, right? The spiritual and the physical, and we're bringing all of the, you know, these, there's so much with the ideas and the envisioning energy, and okay, now integrating that into our infrastructure, into our vessel here, and then how we, you know, implement it into the external, like physical reality and structure. So I feel like having the lime and patchouli, right, that lime can bring in that energy and enthusiasm in taking the action, and the patchouli helping to ground it in. Let's see, I have the Akashic Tarot, some added message for us for the weekend and into Monday. And feel like also once Jupiter stations direct, because it has been such, the retrograde has been such an influence with me, that I will begin making content for my YouTube channel, and it's just Tamara Jean, and with more of the health journey stuff and health astrology and the autism piece, if you're interested in that. We have Three of Forces with the bird nest that came out, and this feels like no, why the light, anyway, with the foundation, and I feel like this is spirit and allowing, you know, ourselves to be nurtured by our light and with spirit, and allow, like, as we're building our divine foundation, right, and going through transformation. Summer, winter. Now it's upright, so it's the summer, and Five of Forces, right? So Three of Forces, we're building our divine foundation and that expression, and also the Five of Forces, you know, and going through this change, and it takes work, but in doing the work, right, you're going to yield results, but things can be distracting. That's what the Treasure card is about. You know, he's standing there and things are in disarray, but behind him is the treasure chest, and the lid is open with the treasure glowing, right? And the light is behind him. So don't get distracted by all of the things, all these little things, right? It is the treasure is there and you have access to it. Like you have access to your soul intelligence, to your gifts, to that higher knowledge within you. And so stay focused with that. And the architect, right? So you are building something here, and it's new, and looking to who are you building with, right? So all these transits and energies assisting in this process. And then add some. Now, add some is a word that has a frequency that connects you with your spirit team or divine team, with your guardian angel, with your higher self. And that's what I have found it to be. And you can use it in when you are setting your intentions or your goals, what you are setting out, that you can say add some, as it brings that divine presence. And you say, I receive, or I achieve, I attain, and you can speak as if you have achieved that goal or intention. But I feel that in this particular energy, in this case, it is using it in connection, and for that connection to your soul's intelligence and higher self and your divine spirit team, and really feeling that support, which I said that's like the emotional aspect with both the lymphatic system and the small intestine, is that maybe feeling unsupported and vulnerable, and maybe insecure. So using that term, right, it's one of those kind of quick and easy tools to use. And of course the 963 hertz as well, in helping in building and strengthening that connection for yourself. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you back here on Tuesday when Jupiter stations direct.